Destination Achilles Galaxy.
And revenge!
Revenge!
Hi, this is the Professional Amateur Hour coming to you with another review. This week, I checked out Revenge of the Empire of the Apes. And this 2023 film was directed by Mark Polonia and stars Tim Hatch, Jamie Morgan, and Herc Reynolds, among others, of course. The story of this movie is about these humanoid apes, and they travel the galaxy looking for revenge on some intergalactic judge or council type of thing because they were found guilty of terrorism. And so they want to get revenge. So they escape prison and then, travel across the galaxy on their quest for revenge. Along the way, they also meet up with a human female. What will happen though? Well, for that, you gotta watch the movie and find out. Alright, so let's discuss this movie. Well, first of all, it is a Mark Polonia movie, so you kind of know what to expect. If you've never heard of this guy, he makes a lot of these low-budget movies like Empire of the Apes and Revolt of the Empire of the Apes, which are the other two movies in this series. I actually haven't seen those in, true professional amateur hour style, and so I'm not going to really comment on them. They've always kind of been around, like I've seen them here or there. I've just never been interested in those ones because it seems like it's a lot of people running around in the woods with, ape suits on. This one, though, is quite a bit different. It actually doesn't take place on Earth. It is all in space, and I think that's probably why I was more, tempted to press play with this one. And because of that, Mark Polonia, he does all these low-budget movies, and he certainly has made it into kind of like an art form. And certainly all of it being in space helped my enjoyment level. It gave it a feeling where there's kind of like more things happening rather than people, sitting in a trailer in the woods or whatever, which I think is good. I know I enjoyed it on a certain level, the Mark Polonia level, of course. It is one of these things where it is a niche audience, and I've certainly fallen within that audience. Just watching these apes walk around, and then, they meet up with this human character. It is interesting enough. You see these characters. They are kind of funny, I'll say that. Here or there, there's certainly lines and moments that have their time in the sun in this one. For the majority of it, though, it's kind of dull dialogue. There's also quite a bit of CGI in there, and that's kind of the Mark Polonia art style, to do an establishing shot with this, CGI or whatever to represent a planet or travel or whatnot. And it does all fit together, I would say. You don't need to see the first ones. That's perfectly fine. They have kind of like just a text crawl, and then later they use footage from the other ones just to give you a sense. It kind of actually made me want to watch the other ones, but at the same time, not really. And so I enjoyed it on a certain level, I would say. It's one of these movies where you can certainly put it on in the background and just kind of play on your phone or whatever, just to say, you've seen it. I certainly watched it late at night. I watched the whole thing. I was, charging my phone in the other room, but, it's fine for what it is. It does all come together to make a cute little interesting, story. It's just other elements of it that we'll talk about that kind of bring it down. But yeah, let's just say it is what it is. In addition, I think the best way I can describe this movie to you is funny cringe. You're watching it and there's just so many things that you just kind of cringe at, but that adds to that style that they're going for, at least Mark's Polonia's style. It is one of these things where it's an odd movie, I would say, and especially with Mark Polonia, like he only makes odd movies. With this one though, there are many choices that I really did question. For example, there is some scenes with nudity in it. Like Jamie actually gets topless. I couldn't believe it because that's not usually the style that I've seen from this director. I think there's another movie, just came out too. It was like, what was it? It wasn't like Baby Cat. It was like Snow Bunny or something like that. And they might have some nudity in that one too. So I don't know if this is like a turn in his career or I'm just like not watching movies that he has this in. But all of the scenes with nudity are like total cringe. Like you can also tell Jamie is not like enjoying it as well. She's enjoying it without the nudity. Like she is such a fun actress to watch. Just you can see her face in these certain scenes and you're just like, oh, this is something. And it's just like, I don't know. It's hard to kind of describe all of the feelings that you get while watching this movie. It is a mess, but at the same time, it's very coherent. It is certainly very strange. Other than that, I would say I enjoyed the characters, especially the female human, Jamie's character in this one. She is very much empowered, and I really love that about her. It made her character so much fun, and so fun to root for as well. She's in control of her sexuality and who she has sex with, and that's just great to see in this movie. Really does kind of bring up her character, I would say. The other two apes are perfectly fine as well. They have their own characteristics. Their masks are interesting. It makes them look very kind of battle hardened, which is good for, the situations they're in. And yeah, the characters perfectly fine to go along with. So that certainly works with this movie. And that brings me to what doesn't work with this film. Well, I certainly can't say that this is a particularly good film. There's so many things that go into this one that just, like I said, it's just funny cringe. Like there is the apes themselves, and they just have like rubber masks, and I think the masks look really good. The issue is that their lips never move, and you can tell like the people are like talking inside the mask, and like they're mic'd up, so like it's perfectly fine to hear them, but the mouths never actually move. So you just have to get used to hearing voices, but without any lips or mouths moving, and it does become annoying. Like it's one of those things where you just have to laugh at it, like, or else you'll be crying throughout the whole thing. And so that's just one thing. There is quite a few more, and let's get to them. And so this movie requires quite a bit of imagination as well, because you are asked to believe quite a bit of things. Like they just kind of like run around, I guess it's like a school or something, of course, while it's closed. But you have to imagine that's like a space station or a space base on a different planet. They also have the CGI stuff with the council, and it was kind of interesting, I gotta say. It was like a face of an alien, but it was made up of little faces of aliens, so you don't really kind of know what's going on. And so there is quite a few things that you are asked to believe in this one, and if you have the imagination to go along with it, I think you'll have a good time with this one. As for my recommendation, I don't know. If you're a Mark Polonia fan, you know what you're getting into. You know the deal of it all. I would say it's kind of like a late night movie where you're ending your day. You don't want to think too hard. You can turn it on, try to follow it as best you can, but don't worry too much about it. And so if that sounds like you, then yeah, press play on this one. I think you can find it on Tubi. As for a rating, well, I'll give it the 2.3 because it certainly is risky if you decide to press play and you don't know what you're getting into. If you do know all about Mark Polonia, maybe you want to check it out. I don't know. And with that being said, I think that's all I wanted to say. So like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.